Vine swung her legs to and fro, her arms wrapped around Jungkook's neck, who held her in his bulky arms in bridal style, as he walked down the empty yet peaceful roads. It was late at night when the two were out for dinner and decided to go for a late night drive. Vine saw this beautiful place lit up and she wanted to stop by. And who was he to reject? So he picked her up out of his car and there they were. Jungkook, you really love anything that lights up the dark, hmm? Vine, it's peaceful when there's dark everywhere and a few lights lit it up. The low contrast and silence everywhere. Jungkook chuckled at her exciting remark and pecked her lips. For a mafia who was dreaded by the whole country, bulky muscles and tattoo-filled body, a piercing on his lip and a cut on his eyebrow, authority and power like government would bow before him. He was too sweet towards his girlfriend that it was hard to believe they were the same person. Sometimes Jungkook's man wondered if he was a bipolar. The man hardly ever reflected any emotion in front of them. When he killed so mercilessly like he didn't own a heart. And it was right. He was heartless because his heart was certainly stolen by a girl in his arms, smiling like all galaxies resided in those beautiful eyes. Wine, I'm so happy today. Jungkook smiled, knowing the fact she usually say that when she is around him, and he is glad he is the reason for her happiness. Wine, let's dance, she said as he put her down. His figure towered above hers, and he extended his hand out. Jungkook, will this beautiful lady honor me a dance? She chuckled at the cheesy line and took his hand. Jungkook pulled her closer till their bodies were against each other, and they soared and twirled under the dark sky at a place devoid of humans. Vine's face glowed with lights, and they didn't play any music. Danced to the rhythm, their hearts played, drowned in each other's eyes. I'm going to make sure that smile stays on your face forever. A few days passed by, and Vine had invited Jungkook over to dinner. She wanted him to meet her parents so they could tie in an actual relation. Vine was not close to her parents, they hardly talked. All of them were busy in their lives. It was hardly a good morning or night if they ever saw each other in lounge or kitchen. She had no idea how they were going to react. A part of it made her nervous, but she was glad Jungkook was going to be with her. She told her parents she wanted them to meet someone. She sighed as the doorbell rang and she knew it must be Jungkook, but her father was still not home, even when she told him to be there on time. She let him in, a smile instantly appearing on her lips, taking his appearance in. She loved every time he behaved like a gentleman, as if he didn't belong to such a cruel world. There he stood, holding a bucket of flowers in one hand and a shopping bag in other hand, probably a gift. One, hi baby. Jungkook pecked her lips as he extended the flowers towards her. Jungkook, hi princess. She took the flowers and escorted him in where her mom was sitting on the dining table reading her magazine. Mom, one called her, taking her attention as her mother stood up. This is Jungkook. Jungkook walked towards her and extended his hand out, which her mother took, and he kissed the back of it. Jungkook, it's a pleasure to meet you. She smiled as she returned his gesture and took the gifts Jungkook offered her. She seemed impressed and Ryan took it as a plus point. When is Dad coming back? Ryan's mother. He must be on his way. Come on, you kids, take a seat. Wine? Pour him some wine, tell them. Jungkook and Wine's mother had a conversation till her father returned, and she was so lost in admiring her boyfriend and his way of impressing a woman that she was kind of getting jealous, even over her mother. The handsome smile that adored his lips every time he praised her. He was dressed in a formal, casual outfit. He had his tattoos hid well under his clothes to provide a gentleman image. She admired how he kept every little thing in mind before appearing here. One thing she knew for sure, she had felt so hard for him right at that moment, even if she was meeting him for the first time. But the light atmosphere Jungkook created went down the drain when her father returned. He looked mad and hardly said any word throughout the whole dinner. Vine's father, Vine, we need to talk. He pushed his plate back and stood up, excusing himself, and left the dinner room. She felt the tension rising as he looked at Jungkook and her mother once. Jungkook put a hand over hers under the table. If there's a problem, I'm right here, he whispered, those eyes flaring protectiveness, and she knew the meaning so well. Jungkook wouldn't once hesitate to take down anyone who threatened to hurt her, might it be her father. Maya nodded and went after her father. She felt the anxiety rising. She was never going to let go of Jungkook, but she didn't want to choose between her parents and him. Or it might not be what she was thinking, but this is what anxiety does. She couldn't help but a thousand thoughts running across her mind as she stopped in front of him. Wine. What happened, Dad? Wine's father. You know who he is? She stayed quiet. She didn't tell them he was a mafia, and she didn't know what her father meant by that question. Wine's father. I asked something, Wine. Where did you even find him? Those people are so dangerous. Wine. Dad, what do you mean? Wine's father. I know he is a mafia, a criminal. They are dangerous and ruthless. What the hell is wrong with you? How can you be fooled so easily? Wine. Dad, we love each other. Jungkook never once treated me wrongly. Wine's father. You didn't tell me where did you find him. Because if you tell me you found him in one of the cafe or down the street, I won't believe that. Wine. What are you trying to say? Wine's father. They are always in places you are not supposed to be. Where do you go whoring around? I have a reputation to keep. He yelled, and Wine was left in a shock. Pain reflected her eyes as she took a step back in disbelief. Wine. Dad? Wine's father. I'm not letting you go with him at any cost. Did you even once thought about me before taking that step? Wine. Why is it so wrong? She stopped midway. There was one thing. She just got called a slut by her own father. And then the other thing. Asked to be separated from Jungkook. She couldn't take the pain all at once, but her words stopped midway when someone held her hand. She felt the warmth creeping up her body, taking away her anxiety. She felt that familiar feeling of protection, and when she looked at the source, it was no other than Jungkook himself. His touch was so gentle yet protective, nothing that matched the expressions on his face or the veins popping out. His eyes are flaming gold, as they reflected so much madness towards her father. He was angry, so angry, and that was what she dreaded. To be continued.